Let's talk football.
Oh, hello. Welcome to this off-season special of Let's Talk Football. I'm excited to get back to it, but unfortunately, the season is still a couple months away.
Yeah, but since free agency has been so busy, we chose to go ahead and do Let's Talk Football because there's been a lot of signings. And let's just say next season is going to be pretty fun. So the couple of months that we have to wait will be worth the wait, I promise you.
Yeah, okay. So, I thought that the biggest headliner would be wherever Antonio Brown landed. But no, I was completely and totally wrong about that one.
Yeah, so basically the Cleveland Browns and New York Giants were like, okay, hold our beer. Giants trade Odell Beckham to the Cleveland Browns for Jabril Peppers, a first and third round pick.
Well, you're forgetting the other part of that. Let's see, where was it? What's the rest of that trade? There's something there. Oh yeah, Cleveland also gets Oliver Vernon, defensive end.
Oh yeah, they did get Olivier Vernon. Oh, and the Cleveland Browns also added Sheldon Richardson to their defensive line.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
let's not forget they added Kareem Hunt to the running back core. He's gonna be out for the first 8 games. So the Cleveland Browns can make a whole lot of their money in the first 8 games. Just imagine how it's going to be when they have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson in the backfield. Oh, wait, let's not forget they got Baker Mayfield. Let's not forget they got David Njoku. Let's not forget they have Jarvis Landry. On the defensive side, let's not forget they got Denzel Ward. Let's not forget they got Myles Garrett. So this Cleveland Browns team.
Okay, so the New York Giants got Jabril Peppers, who is a good safety.
Yeah. He's a good replacement.
They get guard Kevin Zilter and 2 2019 picks, the 17th overall first rounder and the number 93.
Here's my problem. The Giants got all these draft picks, but they have no intention of signing a quarterback. You have to realize Eli Manning he's old.
38.
He's past his time. Get a quarterback. You need somebody who's going to lead that offense under center when Eli Manning retires. Why do you think Eli Manning hasn't retired yet? Because he has nobody to pass the torch to. That's why he's still playing.
Yeah.
He feel like he has to because he has nobody to pass the torch to. You know how badly he wants to pass the torch to a young guy? And a lot of people are saying, get Dwayne Haskins. The Giants they got their own first round pick, they got the Browns first round pick, and they got another third round pick. You got 2 first round picks. Come on now.
So let's think about this. Cleveland now has Vernon, Richardson, and Garrett on the defensive line.
That's going to be one deadly front 7. Then they already got. Don't they have Jamie Collins at linebacker?
So they already had a solid defense last year. Now it's just gotten better. Yes, they lost Peppers, but who cares?
Who cares? They got Denzel Ward at corner.
Now they add Odell Beckham to their offense. Now think about this. You have Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham and Antonio Callaway at receiver, tight end.
And they resigned Brashad Perriman as well.
What position is he?
Wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Yeah, Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Your running backs are Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, and Duke Johnson. And that tight end is
David Njoku, who he has emerged as one of the top young tight ends in the league. So
the last time we saw an offense this stacked was the 2000s Colts, where Peyton Manning. Now I'm not comparing Baker Mayfield to Peyton Manning, though he only had a rookie season.
We promise you, he's not. Baker Mayfield is still young. He's still trying to come into his own. Now let's talk about that. He's still coming into his own, and you saw how impressive Mayfield was last season.
Right.
Now I'm about to get into a little bit of my Stephen A. Smith. Hang on.
Yeah. Now,
Hey, hang on. Hang on. No, you get to rant. I'm ranting this time. Look at this Browns team. Over a span of 2 years, not including last season, 1-31 under Hugh Jackson. You know what? Shannon Sharp. Okay? Now listen here, Skip. Hey, look at this Browns offense. You got Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Duke Johnson, Odell Beckham, David Njoku, Jarvis Landry. For those who's playing the Browns next season, you're going against one of the most deadly teams in the league on paper. All right, that's enough of the little impressions. But
I was about to do it by Skip Bayless.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because, you know, Skip Bayless always has a, yeah, sure.
Because you're going to try and find some disagreement.
Oh, I had
There's no disagreement when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Right now, the Browns are the front runner to win the AFC North next season.
Absolutely. And what I was saying is the last time we saw a offense this stacked, you had Peyton Manning at quarterback. Your running backs were Joseph Adai and
Edgerrin
James. And then at wide receiver, you had
Reggie Wayne,
Marvin Harrison.
Oh, at tight end, you had Dallas Clark.
Well, and you forgot Brandon Stokely.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Brandon Stokely was a beast.
So I mean, this offense for the Browns is stacked.
And they're young.
And you forget the Browns came very close to competing for the playoff spot this past season.
Just imagine what they're going to do next season.
There was 4 games that they could have or should have won, which would have put them at 11-5, which would have put them in the playoffs.
And they probably would have went the distance. Well, they probably would have ran to the buzzsaw known as New England or Kansas City, but you get what we mean.
Yeah. So that to me was the biggie. Let's see. There was some other interesting. I want to go back all the way down here to the San Francisco 49ers.
See, the Niners and the Giants were working on a trade, but see, the Giants wanted the. Here's the thing: the Giants wanted the Niners' number 2 pick.
Yeah. Now, the San Francisco 49ers had such insignificant group of free agents that they franchise tagged their kicker.
That's Robbie Gould. Yeah, but now they added Tevin Coleman to that offense with Jimmy Garoppolo. Not only that, Jordan Matthews from the Philadelphia Eagles, they added him. But what I'm very impressed with is adding assets to their defense.
Yeah.
They got Quan Alexander and they got D Ford into the linebacker core. So you're looking at, the leaders of that defense is going to be somewhat stacked on their defense, and they already got Richard Sherman out there as well.
Yeah, and they re-signed Jimmy Ward. So they made some pretty impressive offseason moves. I'm liking what the 49ers are doing, and it looks like they're trying to build around Garoppolo. It should be interesting to see what they do with the number 2 pick.
I just hope Garoppolo stays healthy next season.
Yeah.
But, you look at, there's a lot of talented players, and especially at number 2, there's a lot of players on that board. So, the top 10 teams in the draft, this is your chance to have you some fun.
Yeah. Oakland Raiders improved in free agency, at least on paper anyway.
They got Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown, yes.
They got Tyrell Williams from San Francisco, from the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, Marcus Joyner signed a 4-year contract with them.
And they got Vontaze Burfict.
Yeah.
Lord.
They weren't a bad team. They just had a lot of bad breaks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And part of that, of course, is the fact that they traded away their top playmaker on offense outside the car.
Amari Cooper. Then they let go of Bruce Irving.
And they traded away their top playmaker on defense, who had a bomb season.
It's just like, if the Raiders actually do move to Las Vegas, if it actually is confirmed, it just seems that John Gruden is trying to turn the team into his own. He's going to keep some players that were there before he got there, but at the same, he's trying to dismantle some of the team so he can build it to his very own team.
And they just kind of traded mediocre backups, you ask me. They let A.J. McCarron sign elsewhere and then sign Mike Gleason.
Well, I
Or
mean,
Glennon.
AJ McCarron, signing elsewhere, that was the Buffalo Bills doing, because once, I understand he had gotten hurt during the preseason, but I mean, once he was back healthy, then they wanted to go ahead and trade him off instead of keeping him, due to the fact that Nathan Peterman, he likes throwing picks. I mean, he's probably colorblind. Derek Anderson, same thing. He's old and probably colorblind. Josh Allen not really putting up consistent numbers. It would be good to have a quarterback that actually knows what he's doing. So, I mean, keeping A.J. McCarron on your team would have been a very smart decision, just saying.
Yeah, New York Jets made some splashes. C.J. Mosley signed with them, and Le'Veon Bell.
Having Le'Veon Bell in that backfield is going to add consistency to their run game.
So-
not saying Isaiah Crowell wasn't good for them. Isaiah Crowell actually had a decent season for the New York Jets. But having Le'Veon Bell back there, that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Sam Darnold, who needs a running back because, in NFL, the run game takes pressure off of the quarterback. When the quarterback sees that they can get a run game going, it makes him comfortable to go ahead and try back, throw the ball, etc. So having Le'Veon Bell back there is going to really help Sam Darnold, and I feel they could be a good 1-2 punch for the New York Jets.
Here is where one of these situations where I just kind of have eyebrow raiser of, excuse me, what? Is the Los Angeles Rams. Now, they just put up arguably the absolute worst performance in the worst Super Bowl ever.
Pretty much.
At least offensively. And they have yet to sign a notable offensive player. And their biggest problem is what last year was when
Todd Gurley went out.
Well, that Todd Gurley, yeah, they still have chosen not to re-sign C.J. Anderson,
Which I'm just like, why? I mean, yeah, you signed, Malcolm Brown, that's good, but C.J. Anderson was the one that was toting the ball when
Well, they
Todd Gurley
didn't
was fragile.
sign Malcolm Brown. They matched the Lions' 2-year offer sheet.
So why you don't re-sign C.J. Anderson? And he came through clutch for y'all in the playoffs where y'all needed a running game the most because Jared Goff was just sticking up the joint without the run game.
And then they just traded Eric Waddle, or they traded LaMarcus Joyner for Eric Waddle.
Eric
Weddle, excuse me.
No, Eric Weddle was with the Ravens.
Yeah, but the Rams signed him because the Ravens released him.
Sure did. Yeah,
So
they got Eric Weddle, who's
you got while Weddle's not a bad safety, he's no Joyner.
nah, he's a little older and a little slower than Joyner.
I mean, it was like trading.
and I'm saying that loosely when I say older and slower than Joyner. I'm just saying. But I mean, they did add a little bit of pressure in the front seven by getting Clay freaking Matthews.
Yeah. Well, we'll see about that. Their run stop game was not the big problem. It was when Talib was out that their pass defense was atrocious.
Oh man,
Because they gave up Tremaine Johnson for Marcus Peters, who could not handle the backfield by himself.
Yeah, I mean, if Marcus Peters had to keep Talib, then he was good. But without keep Talib, Marcus Peters was just so easy to beat. I mean, we saw that during the regular season when Drew Brees had a field day against that secondary. We saw when they played against the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes had a field day with that secondary. And you look at the Rams defense last season. I mean, you look at the All-Star cast, Ndamukong Suh. They had Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters, and they end up signing Dante Fowler from the Jaguars last season. Aaron Donald, and you look at the defense that they had last season. On paper, everybody was like the Rams were gonna have the best defense in the league, and they did the exact total opposite this past season by having probably the worst rushing defense in the league, giving up 5 yards a carry, which is worse in the league. So that's why I'm not having a lot of high hopes for this Rams defense next season, because you can have all the playmakers you want. But if y'all not on one accord, you're going to stink up the joint. So, having Clay Matthews out there, re-signing Dante Fowler, and getting Eric Weddle, is it going to change anything? Maybe. Probably. I'm not a coach. I'm not some NFL official. I don't play in the NFL. I don't know what these guys go through. I don't know what these coordinators go through. But I mean, at the same time, what the Rams defense from last season showed me is that you got to go into the season with open mind and expect anything.
Yeah, another thing is they don't have a standout tight end.
Yeah, all they have is Higbee. What type of name is Higbee? Then you
No.
want to re-sign Blake Bortles. Yeah, when Jared Goff goes down, Blake Bortles is the exact type of guy you want.
Yeah, signing Blake Bortles
But-
kind of surprised me. Former number 3 pick in the draft.
And he just, he was gone kind of staggering. Then, season before last, he was keeping went up, and then this season he just went.
Yeah. Still, you let C.J. Anderson walk in free agency. Well, he hasn't signed with anybody, but clearly the Rams aren't signing him anytime soon. Ty Gurley's still questionable, and when Gurley struggles, your offense struggles.
Definitely. That includes
Not-
Jared Goff.
Not too impressed with the Rams, but I will say Kansas City Chiefs look like they're trying to focus on beefing up that defense, bringing in Tyrann Mathieu,
Alex Okafor, and Damian Wilson, and Bashad Breeland.
Rashad Breeland, who I guess has recovered from his knee injury.
Well, we're going to find out next season if it slowed him down any.
Because, Carolina had signed him last offseason, and then he failed the physical, and no one else picked him up. So we'll see. Chiefs making some notable changes on the defensive side, which
Also, the Chargers adding some big-time players on their defense. They got Thomas Davis, who spent his whole 14-year career with the Carolina Panthers. It just seems no matter how old the man gets, the dude plays like he's still 25 years old. Mm-hmm. And he's still out there making plays, fighting through blocks, and making big hits.
yeah.
And on top of that, the Chargers, they already got Derwin James, and they already have Melvin Ingram out there on the defensive line. So, I mean, this Chargers team, they look like they're still trying to compete.
And another big trade, though not arguably the Odell Beckham or the Antonio Brown trade, looks like John Elway wanted another veteran quarterback to come in and guide the Broncos.
And they got Joe Flacco, and they signed him. It was traded from the Ravens for a 4th-round pick. And not only that, the Broncos ended up getting Kevin Hogan to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as you can hear from my voice, doesn't sound too exciting. But this can probably be the rejuvenation that Joe Flacco may need. A change of scenery.
Well, we'll see. Because, Flacco's not terrible, but he's not the all-star that he perceives himself to be sometimes.
He's not. I mean, his best season was a Super Bowl year.
Right.
And, I mean, he's never been
And
consistent.
that's when, Flacco can utilize talent that you put around him, but he can't carry a team.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that, and it just seemed towards the end of the season last season that the Ravens were like, when they signed Lamar Jackson, I knew it was a matter of time before they pushed Joe Flacco out the door. So,
and speaking of replacing people, I want to go back to the Odell Beckham trade here. This is where I think that the Giants hosed themselves.
yeah, it just seemed that the Giants just
'Cause-
dissected themselves. You give up Olivier Vernon, and then you give up Odell Beckham, who has pretty much been the main part of your offense.
And quite honestly, neither of the players they got in return were value for value trades.
I mean, their offense is pretty much.
Now, I mean,
Saquon Barkley.
granted, Odell Beckham is easily one of the top 5 receivers and arguably one of the top 3.
Pretty much.
And but yes, like I said, Jabril Peppers is a good safety. He's going to have a solid career if he can stay healthy. But again, OBJ for Peppers, not a fair trade. I mean, you can argue that the other guy, I forget what Vernon for Peppers would have been more of a trade, but you still have Kevin Zilter, who the Giants got So
I'm just like the Giants just pretty much dissected themselves. So
yeah, they haven't.
We're going to see the Giants struggle for a while, pending on how they do in the NFL draft. I
Yeah,
feel that.
I mean, granted, the Giants do now have 2 first-round picks, so I figure a quarterback is in there somewhere.
I mean, when you look at the Saints the year before last, it was their rookie class that made all the difference for them, which is why they were able to bounce back from the 0-2 start and finish the way they finished. So, I mean, who's to say the Giants can't do the same thing with their draft class?
Yeah.
If they can play their cards right during the NFL draft, which I doubt they will, but if they can play their cards right, their rookies can make all the difference for them. I mean, that's what happened to the Saints a couple years back. So, I mean, speaking of the Saints, they got Malcolm Brown, 3-year, $15 million contract, adding beef to that defensive line. Oh, wait, they also got Mario Edwards on the defensive end. They also got Jared Cook adding depth to the tight end position and adding versatility to their receiving core.
They needed a tight end. They got a tight end.
And I don't know why they didn't re-sign Mark Ingram, because you look at Mark Ingram, it seemed that as if he was, like I said on the last time, it seemed like he wasn't asking for too much because he signed a 3-year, $15 million deal with the Ravens. Then Latavius Murray, he signed a 4-year, $14.4 million contract with the Saints. So, I mean, if you do the math, Ingram wasn't asking for much. All you had to do was just re-sign him. He's going to say yes because, I mean, he would have loved to stay in New Orleans. He wanted to win a Super Bowl ring.
Here's the thing with Mark Ingram, though. Am I sad to see him go? Yeah, I loved him with the Saints.
Yeah.
And he really came into his own player after a pretty slow, rough start to his career. First 3 seasons averaged like 1.3 yards per carry. Yay. But he was sharing the backfield with Alvin Kamara. And I've said it before. I'll say it again. Alvin Kamara is a once-in-a-generation Marshall Faulk type player who can easily go out and get 1,500 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving.
And he can do that in his sleep, too. Just saying.
And 25-plus touchdowns.
In his sleep.
Had he not had to share the backfield with Mark Ingram last season, he probably would have eclipsed the 1,000 mark.
He probably could have. I mean, but I feel that
with Latavius Murray, yeah, he's a step down from Mark Ingram, but he is at the same time he can come in there and get some yards. He's a good running back. He's not Mark Ingram, got it out type player, but still he allows the Saints to have that second really good running back option that will allow them to give Alvin Kamara more touches without overbearing him.
I definitely agree. I mean, Latavius Murray, step down from Ingram, but at the same time, Latavius Murray, I mean, over the years when I saw him with the Vikings, he has made production. And so I feel that, I mean, he can be that key secondary piece for the Saints offense. And I feel that, I mean, he'll be able to go ahead and be able to further teach Kamara. I mean, Murray's been in the league for a while. So I feel that Kamara can learn some things from him.
And it looks like the Saints are going to pass on signing a receiver. And quite honestly, they just got Jared Cooks. So that covers one aspect that they had trouble with last year, which was a reliable pass-catching tight end.
And it came clutch. Ben Watson, he retired. So, and they also signed Nick Easton after the unexpected retirement of Max Unger.
I don't think it was as unexpected.
Well, from what I heard, from what I listened to, it came like unexpected.
I mean, according to the press, he notified the Saints a month before it was publicly announced. So it came unexpected to Saints fans, but not to the Saints front office.
I got you.
So and also, the Saints don't really need to sign another receiver. It looks like Cameron Meredith is going to come back, so we can see what he's going to end up doing for that offense.
Of course, Michael Thomas.
Thomas. But Traquan Smith and Keith Kirkwood, to me, are 2 guys on that team that stand out as having a lot of upside potential. Both players made a lot of plays last year, but were extremely inconsistent. Traquan Smith had 2 games where he caught for over 1,000 yards and multiple touchdowns, but both of those came before the game against the Falcons, to which he just kind of disappeared after that.
Well, Tre'Quan Smith's problem was creating separation. And when you're playing, when you're in a Drew Brees-led offense, Drew Brees, he likes to throw those tight windows passes. He likes to throw those 50-50 balls. So you have to be able to catch into. And Tre'Quan Smith, he's one of the fastest guys I've seen. He's pretty fast. So when you're in a Drew Brees-led offense, it is paramount that you have to create separation because Drew Brees will throw the ball in coverage. He will throw a tight pass. If he knows you can go up and get it, he will throw that pass. And it's coming fast. So, and same thing with Keith Kirkwood. Keith Kirkwood, he has to be able to create separation.
And Kirkwood, one of his problems was consistency. He didn't create separation that often, but when he did, he came up with some pretty clutch passes.
I remember the one he had against Dallas when the Saints needed to get on the board, and he had that touchdown.
Yeah,
and that was just clutch. And Drew Brees, I mean, he pretty much just threw it into the hands of luck.
Yeah, and so really and truly, the big key for Sean Payton and Drew Brees this offseason when camp starts up is to develop those young receivers into more reliable, consistent targets.
And to also make sure Latavius Murray knows that playbook, because Sean Payton, out of all head coaches, his playbook is probably the deepest in the league. I mean, Sean Payton will go to the deepest depths of his playbook in order to win. So, I mean, that was Brandon Marshall's problem, and that was one of the reasons why he got waived, was because the fact, I mean, once he got signed, the Saints were ready to let him play. It's just his problem was he wasn't learning the plays. Mm-hmm. And to be able to play for a Sean Payton, Pete Carmichael, and Drew Brees-led offense, you have to be able to know the plays. That's on any NFL team. That is a requirement. That's not for discussion.
Yeah, and quite honestly, this almost seems like this is the Saints' best chance to win the Super Bowl.
This is their window.
After next season, or after this upcoming season, they have to re-sign what almost looks like half their team right now.
Yeah. So Mickey Loomis is not looking forward to it because of all the deals and all the teams that's going to be coming after his players. Because there's going to be teams teams are going to be ringing their phones off the hook. There's going to be a lot of trades made, a lot of deals, some releases, some fallouts. It's going to be a wild offseason next. I'm not looking forward to it. Kind of am. I just want to get my popcorn and just watch all the fireworks.
Now, with Mark Ingram joining the Baltimore Ravens, good for Baltimore. They now have one of the better, reliable, consistent running backs in the league that can take some of the running pressure off of Lamar Jackson, who, quite frankly, cannot continue to play the way he is.
Or else he can get hurt, and his career will be shortened significantly if he keeps running.
Here's like the head scratcher. Baltimore, why haven't you given Lamar someone to pass to?
I just realized that, and then they just lost John Brown. He got signed by, I think, the Buffalo Bills.
So realistically, you don't have a number one, and arguably you don't even have a number two.
I mean, if I'm Baltimore, I am hoping and praying DK Metcalf is still on the board by the time it's my turn to pick, which 9 times out of 10, he will not be on the board. You're looking at a guy who's 6'3", weighing 228 pounds, and runs a 4.37, 4.38 on 40-yard dash. So, yeah, good luck with trying to make sure DK Metcalf is still on the board. He's probably not going to be on the board. So, you might as well start thinking and start looking up receivers to try and get, because it's not going to happen.
I don't understand the moves. There was plenty of receivers in this year's free agency, and they went after none of them.
Tisk.
And then finally, I was just like, okay, it looks like Buffalo actually wants to give Josh Allen someone to throw to. They signed
Cole Beasley and John Brown.
So yeah, congratulations, Bills.
Congrats.
Your quarterback can throw the ball now.
Yay! Just don't put Nathan Peterman in, and y'all probably win some games.
I don't think the Bills are going to be going back to Nathan Peterman anytime soon.
Oh, definitely not.
But okay,
he better try to AAF. Just playing, he'll probably throw picks in there too.
I want to talk a little bit about the draft. Now, the Arizona Cardinals have the number 1 pick, and you got people calling for them to draft
Kyle Murray. Well, one of the main reasons why is because Coach Kingsbury knows how Kyler Murray plays. I mean, he coached against Kyler Murray before. I mean, Coach Kingsbury is a Big 12 guy. Kyler Murray, Big 12 quarterback.
Yeah, but from a business standpoint, that's just stupid.
Well, first off, if you want to talk about business standpoint stupid, how about Kyler Murray passing up the MLB for the NFL? Looking at all these big time deals that these players have been signing lately, and Mike Trout getting ready to sign 12 years, $430 million. Do you know what I would do with $430 million? And hold on, please, wait, give me 1 second, real quick. Just give me just one second. Hang on. I have to do some math real quick. So Mike Trout will be making close to $36 million a year for the next 12 years of his life. And Kyler Murray wants to pass up that type of money? That's a stupid from a business standpoint. Not only that, for a guy his size, he's 5'10", barely weighing 200 pounds. And the game gets a lot faster and gets a little more violent when you go from college to NFL. For a guy his size, for a guy of his talent, he would acquire more longevity being in the MLB. But, I mean, Kyler Murray is a talented player, and, I mean, he might be able to thrive in the NFL. I don't know. But then again, I mean, honestly, if I would go with a number one pick, I mean, don't forget about Dwayne Haskins. I mean, now that Arizona, they're torn between Kyler Murray or keeping Josh Rosen as their number one guy.
Okay, so that's what I'm going to get to. Drafting Kyler Murray is stupid if you're Arizona. Here's why. You just spent the 10th overall pick on Josh Rosen last season.
Why would you spend your number one pick on another quarterback after you just drafted a quarterback last season? Because he's the Rosen one?
So okay. So if you're going to go with Kyler Murray, at the very least, you trade Rosen for not peanuts. You want to get some real stuff out of that. But okay, that's not that. You don't give up on the 10th overall pick after one season.
I mean, he needs a coach. He needs time. He needs players. He needs time to settle in.
And then it's like, oh, Rosen's garbage. What? Because a rookie had a bad first season in the pros? Who would have thought? Okay,
look at what Sam Darnold did with New York Jets.
Struggled?
Yeah. Josh Allen struggled.
The only one to do particularly well was Baker Mayfield.
And Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Though Lamar didn't play the whole season.
No.
He did particularly well.
You fired your head coach 1 year into his tenure because you wanted to hire another head coach who would come in and better develop Rosen.
I mean, if you want a guy that's better develop Rosen, you either get you an offensive coordinator or you get another quarterbacks coach. But Coach Kingsbury, he finished his tenure at Texas Tech with a losing record. So why would you want to bring him in to lead the whole team? Oh, wait. NFL, they're doing these owners are trying to do the Sean McVay experiment. Mm-hmm. You look at the Jets getting Adam Gase as their head coach. Now you're looking at the Cardinals to get Coach Kingsbury as their head coach. A team that I ought to applaud is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They actually got an actual head coach that knows what he's doing. Bruce Arians. Clap, clap, clap. You're still getting whooped by the Saints next season. Moving on.
Yeah. And so, to complete my thought process, if Rosen really is that bad, passing up a Kyler Murray this year is not the worst thing, because if Rosen really is that bad, then it should not be hard if you're the Cardinals, who quite frankly have a pretty bad roster right now, to get back to that number one pick either next year or the year after that, when you got Tua coming out next season, and then Trevor Lawrence the following year.
Right.
So you got options.
You got time.
Yeah, like you don't give up on the number 10th overall pick after one bad rookie season.
Sure, that's now if he has 2 or 3 bad seasons consistently, then you let him go. But after one season, you gotta give him time to mature. You gotta give him time to settle in on that field.
And now, if you ask me, the best thing for Arizona to do, and you got two options this year, Arizona. Draft one of the top, defensive players coming out of this year's draft, which this year is loaded with defensive players to pick from.
Right.
There are a number of players that you could definitely argue are well worth the number one pick.
All I gotta say, Arizona.
Or you trade out of the number one spot and pick up multiple picks because your team sucks right now.
And you can use all the picks you can get.
Exactly. So to me, it's Arizona.
They need a running back because their running back right now has no plans of staying healthy. They need other receivers because Larry Fitzgerald just can't do it by himself out there in the receiving core. I mean, they got Christian Kirk.
In Fitz, I mean,
man, that's first ballot Hall of Famer right there.
He's going to retire sooner or later.
Yeah, he is. So you might want to get some more receivers because after that, if you don't get more receivers, then Christian Kirk going to be out there by himself. So I'm just saying you might want to. Also, they don't have Chester Rogers. No, they got Chad Williams though from Grambling. He was their round pick last season.
You know what? I just thought.
What?
It's your Arizona. You take advantage of arguably one of the dumbest front offices in the NFL right now, and you try to get a certain team from New York to take their now 2 first-round draft picks and trade up for the number one spot.
That would be a way to now talking about the stealing of a rod. That's just giving them the rod right there. The steel end of it. I'm talking about the steel sharp end of it and just make it just go all the way up into their brain. That was gruesome, bad taste, but you know what I mean.
I mean, and it's not out of
no. If you want Arizona Cardinals, no, I got a dumber team you can make trade their picks. The Oakland Raiders got 3 first-round picks. You make them trade all that for the number one pick in the draft. Now, guess what? You done well playing your cards. Now the Cardinals got 3 first-round picks. But that's not the case because the Cardinals front office is probably just as stupid as the Oakland front office and probably just as stupid as the New York front office.
I mean, it's really not out of the question for either of those franchises to come knocking on the door with 2 first-round picks.
I mean, I feel that there's going to be a lot of deals made throughout the draft day. So, I mean, everything's going to be changing quite a bit.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but this has been a very busy off season. Free agency has been crazy. So.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to grace y'all with that. I know that we had a lot of y'all listen to us for Let's Talk Football, so we wanted to bring it back for a special since, it is draft season, it is free agency season, and in the words of Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, it's time to shake things up again.
Yeah, so we'll continue to watch this offseason. Like we said, it's like the first real wave and arguably the second wave of free agency is over. The next wave of free agent signings are going to come after the draft, and then you'll probably have some around time that camp starts up.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be a lot going on in the off season. It's gonna be crazy.
But so that's this Let's Talk Football, off season special. We will be covering the draft live. I will go ahead and announce that.
We will be at the Mandeville Social Club.
Yeah, if you can't attend it physically, you'll definitely be able to watch that one online, at least on YouTube, possibly Facebook. We'll see. But we got something else in the tube that we won't be talking about right now. But
that's top secret. That's classified.
That's going to be special.
We tell y'all, we're gonna have to spread this zombie virus, so y'all have to off yourselves because this is so important and such top secret, y'all.
No, but we're excited about this opportunity, and so we really look forward to be able to share that at a later time. Right now, we're keeping it a little bit under wraps until papers have been signed. But that has been this off-season episode of Let's Talk Football. You can find us on AISportsNetwork.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere else you might be able to find us. I don't know. Dark web somewhere.
Okay. Okay.
Well, this has been AI Sports Network production.
Is there something wrong with you? We might need to have a talk.
Signing out.
Let's talk football.